Greetings, Fel Hunters. Well, today it's time to look at the final episode of Supernatural Season 4, Lucifer Rising. In 1972, at St. Mary's Convent in Ilchester, Maryland, Azazel posed as a priest at St. Mary's Convent. At Mass, he gives a speech lamenting about how people keep forgetting that his father was once an angel, as well as the irony of how a nun factory was built over the entrance to the cage. He then proceeds to slaughter the 8 nuns in the chapel. In the present day, Sam proves as he leans against Ruby's car outside an abandoned house. Sam's upset over the fight with Dean. Ruby tells him Dean shouldn't have said what he said, but they can patch things up later, after it is all over. Sam tells no, Dean was right. Sam says there won't be an after for him. He can feel inside that he has changed for good. Dean is better off as far away from him as possible. At Bobby's place, Dean refuses to call Sam. He's sick and tired of chasing him, and not even sure if he is still his brother anymore. Bobby angrily calls him out on his behavior, and says he's behaving like his father. John's fear to reach out to Sam was cowardly. Bobby tells Dean is a better man than his father ever was. Dean finds himself transported to what appears to be a luxurious hotel room, referred to as the Green Room by Zechariah. He and Castiel appear, and Zachariah says they're keeping him safe and focused for the grand finale. He informs Dean that all but one of the 66 seals has been broken, that Lilith has to break it. He's not forthcoming with the details about exactly what Dean's role is, or even where he's supposed to go to get it done. Dean becomes extremely agitated with that staff responses to his questions and threatens to leave. Zachariah still reminds him that he swore obedience to the angels, and so he must obey. At hospital, Lilith's minion is stealing a baby for her to consume. Sam arrives and overpowers her. Back at the abandoned house, he tortures and interrogates her, and she finally tells him Lilith will be at St. Mary's Convent in Ilchester, Maryland, at midnight the next night, but says that she doesn't know what the final seal is. Ruby tells Sam they need to keep the demon alive so Sam can feed on her blood, as Ruby doesn't have what he needs to kill Lilith. The demon withdraws to the recesses of the possessed girl's mind, so Sam is confronted with an innocent human. In the green room, when he is alone, Dean finally calls Sam, leaves a voicemail apologizing for what he said to him. Back in 1972 at St. Mary's Convent, through a dead nun, Azazel is able to speak to Lucifer, who tells him that he needs Lilith to break the 66 seals that hold him captive. Lucifer also tells Azazel he needs to find a very special child. Back in the present day, Sam reads about the 1972 massacre at St. Mary's and deduces that if Azazel had also visited the convent, then the demon must be telling the truth about Lilith going there to break the final seal. Sam bundles the possessed girl into the trunk of the car, despite her protests, and he and Ruby head to St. Mary's Convent, Ilchester, Maryland. Along the way, he considers listening to Dean's voicemail, wondering if Dean was right all along. Ruby assures him that they have to see this through to the end. At the green room, Dean pleads with Castiel to let him see Sam, but Castiel soundly refuses and then vanishes, sealing all exits to the room. Dean tries to break out of the room, to no avail. Zachariah appears and Dean angrily confronts about what's going on, why he can't see Sam, and how he is going to ice Lilith. Zachariah contemplates that he's not going to ice Lilith. She is going to break the final seal. Dean's confused at first, but then realizes, and Zachariah finally admits, the angels never wanted Lilith to stop. The angels never wanted to stop Lilith from freeing Lucifer. The upper echelons of the angels actually wanted the apocalypse to happen in order to defeat hell and bring about paradise on earth. Zachariah is wholly unconcerned about the vast loss of human life that will occur. Dean is devastated and outraged. He asks what about Sam, pointing out that he won't stop until he stopped Lilith. Zachariah is again smug and cryptic in his response, only saying that Sam has his part to play. He tells Dean he should worry more about himself and his own role, which reveals has always been to kill Lucifer once he has risen. Dean demands to know where God is in all this. Zachariah's response, God has left the building. 2 miles from the convent, Sam and Ruby stop, and Sam listens to Dean's message, but it's been changed, most likely by Zechariah. It is now Dean hurling abuse at Sam and rejecting him again. Resigned, Sam orders Ruby to kill the possessed girl so he can drink her blood to prepare to face Lilith. Back at the green room, Castiel returns and apologizes to Dean for deceiving him. Dean is angry and argues with Castiel for just following orders when he knows what the angels are doing is wrong. He tries to convince him to help Dean and Sam stop the apocalypse, as he was willing to do before he was dragged back to Bible camp. Castiel initially refuses, but then returns and, cutting himself, draws an angel banshee sigil on the wall with his blood. When Zechariah arrives to stop him, Cassio places a blade hammered in the middle of the sigil and Zechariah is sent away. Cassio says he will take Dean to Sam to stop him from killing Lilith, because her death is the final seal. When she dies, the end begins. This is what Cassio was going to tell Dean right before he left Jimmy Novak's body. To find Sam, Cassio and Dean visit the prophet Chuck Shirley, who has foreseen that Sam has had the covenant with Lilith. They find him on the phone attempting to order 20 hookers. He thinks it's last night before the apocalypse. He tells her where the covenant is, but is confused because neither the princess at his house nor the covenant were in his visions. An archangel begins to make its presence known. Cassio says he will hold off and sends Dean directly to the covenant with a touch of his hand. He and Chuck then stare at the window of the house as the archangel approaches. At the covenant, Lilith and her minions have gathered. Sam and Ruby arrive, and Sam easily dispatches all of the demons and pins Lilith to the altar. Ruby makes eye contact with Dean as he arrives and closes the temple door with a motion of her hand, officially locking him out. Sam, using all of his strength to try to kill Lilith, can barely hear, hesitates when he hears Dean shouting his name outside the door. Ruby pleads on her to finish it. His hesitation results in taunting by Lilith. His eyes turn black and he ignores Dean's shouting, giving in to killing Lilith. She falls over, dead. Blood trickles from Lilith's mouth and starts to form a spiral on the chapel floor. An overjoyed Ruby reveals confused that Lilith's death was the final seal, and that she has been working the top secret plan to free Lucifer all along. Now that the final seal is broken, the cage is open, and Lucifer is free. Horrified, Sam tries to kill her with his demon powers, but he uses up all his energy on Lilith and falls to the floor in his effort. Sam accuses her of poisoning the blood. She says no, it wasn't the blood. She really showed him options and he chose the right path, every time. Sam asked why it had to be him. Ruby reveals that Sam was the only one who could bring back Lucifer and starts to assure him that Lucifer will reward him. Deeply breaks and rushes forward, practically filled with rage. You're too late, Ruby purrs. I don't care, Dean snarls. Sam jumps up and grabs Ruby from behind, allowing Dean to stab her with her own knife, twisting it for good measure, killing her. The brothers stare at each other in silence. Broken and ashamed, all Sam can say is, I'm sorry. At that moment, a beam of light appears in the middle of the spiral circle of Lilith's blood, and it begins to turn, revealing an opening in the floor. The ground begins to tremble. Sammy, let's go, Dean says. Dean, Sam says. He's coming. The boys hold on to each other as the light burns brighter. Lucifer is rising. Dun dun dun. So let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. Lilith possesses the same woman as in the monster at the end of this book, rather than a young girl. Chuck Shirley, Zechariah, and Lilith were all as seen in the monster at the end of this book. Azazel's endgame, mentioned in the beginning, is finally revealed. This is the first appearance of Lucifer the series, unseen. The thing Cassio wanted to tell Dean about in the rapture is revealed, the angels not wanting to stop the apocalypse. It's later revealed that when Raphael smote Castiel at the end of this episode, Jimmy Novak died too. Aww. When communicating with Lucifer in 1972, Azazel mentions that the others have lost faith, but he hasn't. This is revealed to be referring to the other princes of hell in Stuck in the Middle with You, where Romeo reveals that the other three princes of hell lost interest in Lucifer's plan long ago, and he calls Azazel a fanatic. Zachary says about Dean and Sam have roles to play for the apocalypse. It is revealed in the 5th season that they are vessels to Michael and Lucifer. And now let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. Azazel makes an appearance in a flashback in this episode. This is the second episode of the series to include both a white-eyed demon and a prince of hell, Yellow Fever being the first one. However, this is the first episode that both kinds truly appear, and not as an illusion. In both the first and last episode of the season, someone escapes hell. In the first, it is Dean, and the last, it is Lucifer. Lucifer is likely held a special part of hell that is cut off from the rest of it. It's in Milton states that Lucifer is to be freed from hell. Yet it is said by the demons that none have seen Lucifer in ages. This will match biblical mythology as well, in which some versions of the Lucifer story say that he was bound in a special part of hell, the deepest part, cut off from the largest part of the realm. Thus, Lucifer's cage is likely a special part of hell in which he is the lone prisoner. This is so far the only episode to feature Azazel, Lilith, Lucifer, and Ruby together. This is one of the only 3 episodes of season 4 or 5 where Lucifer is not played by Mark Pellegrino. The other two are sympathy for the devil and the end. When Castiel uses the angel banishing sigil on Zechariah, he himself did not get banished. Upon seeing Castiel and Zechariah in the same room, Doom works, "Look at this, the sweet life of Zack and Cass." This is an allusion to the Disney Channel show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, about troublesome twin boys who live in a motel. One of the stars of the show was Kim Rhodes, who also plays Sheriff Mills. On the grand table in the green room, there's a large silver punch bowl full of Dean's favorite bottled beer and a platter of bacon cheeseburgers, which Zechariah encourages Dean to enjoy. This thing suggests the biblical tree of knowledge of good and evil and the forbidden fruit from which Eve took the bite that sparked the fall of man. After initially refusing the goods, Dean eventually relents and picks up a burger. Castiel suddenly appears and grabs him a second before the bite is taken. In point of no return, Adam Milligan sits at the table and eats. Zechariah offers to summon the character Ginger from season 2 of Gilligan's Island for Dean to have sex with while in the green room. He also offers up Mary Ann as a bonus. Zechariah, Sam, 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 Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. This is a reference to the Brady Bunch. Zechariah tells Dean that in paradise he'd be given peace, happiness, and 2 virgins and 70 sluts. This is a play on the Muslim belief that a martyr is promised 72 virgins after his death if he dies a warrior. Dean tells Castiel that he'd rather take the pain and guilt than live as some Stepford bitch in paradise. This is a reference to the term Stepford wife, which originated from the 1972 book The Stepford Wives, the plot of which involved men replacing their wives with subservient robot lookalikes. Today the term Stepford wife is used to describe a person who is easily submissive. Eric Kripke has refused to say whether it was Zechariah or Ruby who tampered with Dean's message to Sam. The writers of this episode have done the research. There was a same rights college run by the Redemptorists in the small declining now extinct town of Elchester, Maryland. The college closes in 1972. The date used in this episode for the nuns being slaughtered. The abandoned building, which eventually went to ruins, became a teenage urban myth nicknamed Hell House. The ruins were demolished in the 2000s. Several websites provide more information. At 37 minutes and 52 seconds, Sam's eyes turn demon black. At 37 minutes and 57 seconds, they turn back to normal again. This might be because of the amount of demon blood in him overreacting while killing Lilith. Trigger remarks on this and said his temperature was 150 at the time. The alternate reality seen in the beginning of Atomic Monsters, the alternate Sam's eyes also turn black when he uses telekinesis to kill Dean. Ruby references the Disney movie Dumbo when she tells Sam, "You don't need the feather fly. You had in you the whole time, Dumbo." And no rest for the wicked. Dean said maybe Ruby was working for Lilith all along, which is out to be true in this episode. And then finally, let's take a look at a couple of errors. When reading on the article of Father Dominic Lean's possession by Zazel, Sam states that the article says that the priest even remembers the demon's name, which is Zazel. However, close examination of the article shows that while it does say Father Laney remembered the demon's name, the name is not actually given. When Castiel presses palm on the angel's banishing sigil, it will cause Zechariah to be sent away. However, Castiel was also present of the sigil at the time it was activated, which means it should have done the same to him. Yeah, that's very true. So overall, as the final episode of Season 4, this episode is really damn good, and definitely sets up things that can happen in the next season, so yeah. So overall, I give Lucifer Rising 5 Impalas out of 5. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me on Supernatural Summer 2024. Hope you enjoyed this look at Season 4, and tune in next year's way to Supernatural Season 5. Anyway, next month is going to be Arrowverse August 2024, in which we will look at Season 4 of Arrow. So be sure to tune in for that. So, yeah. So, anyway, until next year, till we look at Supernatural Season 5, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.